I'm Shayne Heap, Sheriff of Elbert County, Colorado. Prior to the end of the last session of the Colorado legislature, there were efforts to abolish the death penalty. Thankfully, extremists who dominated this last session ran out of time to commit this act of recklessness. Sadly, their agenda was vicariously carried out when John Hickenlooper issued a temporary stay of execution for convicted murderer Nathan Dunlap, who has already been allowed to outlive his victims by almost 20 years. While the way in which John Hickenlooper did this was a clear failure of leadership, it was just another instance of placing extreme politics ahead of responsible leadership. There was no way a governor could have handled this situation without receiving criticism. A true leader of integrity will face that criticism and make the just decision, not John Hickenlooper. He chose to find a way he could circumvent the decision of 12 jurors and also leave a ticking bomb in the lap of every other leader to follow him. Real leaders do not do that. They fulfill their responsibilities when they're confronted with them, and they don't pass the buck. He was so intent on leaving a political bomb for his successors that he disappointed even those who were hoping for a commuted sentence. He cared more for his political escapades than being loyal to those who support him. We all understand that the victims of this horrible murder lost everything in a moment for no reason. Dunlap was given a chance to defend himself in a court of law with the presumption of innocence surrounding him. His victims had done nothing wrong, but were sentenced to die. Dunlap was given an advocate to defend him vigorously. His victims had no one to defend them. Dunlap had his life and fate placed in the hands of 12 reasonable people who respected the law. His victims' lives were in the hands of one man with no regard for our laws. Dunlap's fate, while declared just by a judge and jury, has been reviewed and tested for almost 20 years. There was no appeal or pause for his victims. The sentence was carried out in moments. Their lives, liberty, and pursuit of happiness is forever gone. John Hickenlooper is still protecting those things for Nathan Dunlap. John Hickenlooper masquerades his disregard of the lives of those who died, the jury who found Dunlap guilty, the families who have waited for justice, and the rule of law which keeps us a civil society, as some sort of higher consciousness and civility. This is why his warped and extreme civility for a man who murdered innocent people. While you struggle every day to keep your job, make a living, and pay your taxes, Nathan Dunlap will never have to worry about that again. While you have to fight to keep your home, pay for repairs, and cover increasing taxes, you also pay to keep Nathan Dunlap in the best and most up-to-date facilities your money can buy. While Americans pay exorbitant health care premiums, Nathan Dunlap will have the best health care your money can buy. While you worry about how to fund your retirement, and if you even have Social Security, Nathan Dunlap will have the same lifestyle after he turns 65 that he has right now, and you'll pay for it. Our children today cannot even afford to go to college, but your money will ensure that Dunlap can get an education if he wants it. The families of his victims are still waiting for justice, denied them at the moment that it was within their reach, by a man who is more concerned with political games than justice. Their family members who were murdered will never go to college, see retirement, or enjoy anything that Dunlap is lavish with every day. These politicians know that the news cycle and focus for the American public is very short, and as soon as Dunlap and his crimes are swept under the rug of changing news cycles, that they will have once again gotten away with an atrocity of justice. We have to quit letting them do this, and we have to get the issues out in the forefront and keep them there until responsibility and integrity are returned to our government. This past week, John Hickenlooper committed a cowardly atrocity second only to the murderous actions of Nathan Dunlap. The apparent indifference to human life and dignity of all these two acts were equal. Neither one of these individuals seemed to care how these actions impacted innocent people's lives. Hickenlooper and Dunlap hope is they can convince others to view their acts with the same delusion they see those acts with themselves. These acts of indifference and defiance to the Constitution and to the rule of law that sustain and guarantee our way of life will only be stopped when we get reasonable people involved. John Hickenlooper and his fellow extremists have to be replaced with those who respect our nation and have the courage and the wisdom to protect our way of life. Thank you very much.